welcome to my Scrappin space. I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin, and I'm here to share with you our first Merry Monday card of 2025. Let's get this face out of the way and start creating. So on Mondays between the beginning of July and the end of December, we do a Merry Monday card. It's a chance for you to get a lot of ideas about making some Christmas crafting and to help encourage you to maybe get a head start. I don't always follow that advice, but at least I get a card a week made so I can share it with you. I am using a new bundle that is available as part of the July online exclusives, and it's called Jolly Holly. You're going to see a lot more of this bundle from me. Today I'm kind of doing a basic version of it. Here's our card, and of course we have a matching embossed envelope. And the star, well, what I think is the star of this bundle is the embossing folder. It's so new I don't even have it labeled yet, but it does all kinds of things. Today we're just going to emboss with it, but there's other things I'll be showing you in other cards. The other product I want to share with you is our two-tone cardstock. So this is Mossy Meadow, and depending on which side you're looking at, let's see if I can grab a smaller piece. It comes 12 by 12, and I cut it up for the card base and the card front. So this is my card base, the darker color, and there's the card front, the lighter color. So it's the same piece of paper, it just depends which side you're going to use it on. I'm going to quit talking and we're going to make a card. The first thing we're going to do is emboss, and then while we have the machine out, we're going to die cut our circle too. So let me make some space here, and we're going to emboss on the lighter side because we want to contrast the card base, which is the darker side. So we'll get this out of the way, and I'm going to put it in our embossing folder. It's going to go through fold first, and I'm lining it up on the line there just to help me feel like I have it kind of straight. And this is one of our thicker folders, so we know that's going to use plate 1 and plate 4. You always use plate 1. And plate 4 in the Stampin' Up system is the gray plate. Our embossing folder is going to go between the two plates because we always have a plate on top, whether we're embossing or die cutting. And we're just going to send that through. And it really should be running this smoothly. Then you know you have the right sandwich. Look at that. Now we're going to do something else with it, but for now we're going to decide what we have the machine out. Next, we're going to emboss our envelopes, and I say envelopes because especially with the 3D embossing folders, they leave such a deep impression that with the thinner paper of an envelope, they could rip it. And plus, with a deep impression, you can do 2 at one time. So by doing 2, I'm adding enough thickness, they're not going to rip, and I'm just being more efficient with my time. So I'm going to line this up. It's the same sandwich, and I'm just lining the edge of the embossing with the edge of the folder. Now we're going in a different way, but that's still okay. And I'm going to make sure that my envelope is on the plate, and this may stick out a little bit. So it's going to look like that. We're going to put this plate on top, and I move my cut and emboss to the side, and I'm going to leave it there rather than keep picking it up and cutting it back and forth. And that's going to run through just as smoothly. And when you get to the end of the embossing folder, you may hear a little clunk. And that's just telling you you've come off the embossing folder. It doesn't matter. But what does matter is look at that envelope. Isn't that something? Now you probably think we're done embossing. We are not. We're going to emboss one more thing, which you may not have seen me do before. So often on the inside, on the card insert, I will stamp an image or I will add a piece of paper that I've used on the front. And I could do that. I could, cut a strip of this and emboss it. But I want to show you something else you can do. It's good to have options. This is what's going on the inside, and I stamped it from the Jolly Holly stamp set. Now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to emboss just the top of it. And I'm giving quite a bit. But I'm just spending a time here so I have some sense that I have it straight across. It looks like I do. And so you see how I just have it? I'm going to just wait a second so you catch up. How I just have it on the top of the envelope. But again, if you want more color on the inside, grab a scrap, emboss it, and do the same thing. But I think it's fun sometimes just to do the embossing. That kind of white on white look that matches the envelope can look really rich. This time we're just doing one layer of cardstock though. Cardstock's thicker than our envelopes. Okay. Check that out. Can you see that? Just adds just a whole different level of interest to the inside of your card. We are still not done with our cut and emboss. We're going to cut next, and then we'll put the machine away. So I want to show you here. Do you see how Joy, just like kind of, I really like the openness of the circle. I want to use this circle, but when you stamp it and you have that gap there, sometimes your ink doesn't want to play nice with those holes. So when that happens, I do better if I stamp first, then die cut. So I've stamped the word Joy. I'm going to switch out my plates because if I'm die cutting, I need 1, 2, and 2 of plate 3. I'm just looking, I have a stash of plates over here and I'm just looking for the nicer ones. There we go. So this is going to sit here. I just stamped it on a scrap of paper. Then I'm going to line up my die cut so I can see most of the word Joy. Okay? Then we're just going to run that through. Then I promise we'll make a card. And that's just going to run through. We are done. We'll put all of our pieces away so we have some room to do some other amazing things with our card. There we go. We'll set that aside. That's done. And we're going to set this die aside so I don't lose it. Now, can you see there's a little bit of white on there? This paper has a white core, and we're going to kind of play that up. So I'm going to take my paper and I'm just going to grab a little, look at this adorable little file, but any kind of file, I have a bunch sitting here, will work. And all we're doing is we're lightly sanding the raised edges. It kind of gives it just a different look and a little more interest. And really what I'm focusing on first are those berries. I was writing up the directions for this card. It's on my blog. And I wrote that you should lightly sand the cherries. Luckily, I caught that and went back in. Then, this one, I'd like to expose a little more white, and I'll show you why in a second. Then I'm just, oh, there's another corner here. They're all over the place, aren't they? Then I'm going to just really lightly hit a couple of the ivy leaves. You can decide how much you want. This just adds some interest to your card. Okay, now notice this card. I have the red berries, and a friend messaged me after I'd posted on my Facebook page and said, what embellishments did you use to get those red berries? I did not use any embellishments. Let me show you what I used. I used one of our blends, and I grabbed Cherry Cobbler. That's the ink I was using there, and I grabbed the dark. Now, I add the labels to mine. They come, here's another one. Maybe not. Maybe all mine are labeled. They are. Just because it's easier for me, but you can see here it says dark Cherry Cobbler. Blends come in a pack of 2, a dark and a light. I'm grabbing the dark, and I'm going to grab, I think, the brush end. We have a brush end and a bullet end or marker end, and you know what? I think I used the bullet end. I'm switching here. I'm going to just color in this, and you guys who know me, I'm not somebody to color, but it's really very easy to do, and I'm not worried. I'm just kind of coloring the top. And by opening up that white core, it looks like, which you, knowing me, would know I would never do, it looks like I shaded them, because the white core looks like the light part of the berry, and the part that didn't get as much sanded off or the edge looks like the dark part of the berry. And as you can tell, it takes the color wonderfully. Blends are an alcohol marker, so they're going to dry right away. And again, for me coloring, this is about as much as I'm going to do. But as you can see, even though there's a lot to color on here, it's not taking a long time. It's not something that you have to worry about, oh my gosh, I'm not quite in the line, I didn't do a good job. You're just looking at the overall effect. I honestly think that's one of the areas that I struggle with coloring. I'm not great at knowing how to blend or where to shadow. And then I work really hard on something, or what feels like really hard to me, and I'm almost done and I go out of the lines, and then I'm like done. Like, I don't even like this. So look at that. I can chat with you and color, and that's all it took. We're going to attach it to a white mat. You can pick any mat you want, but I would encourage you to think about a mat because it just adds some contrast to the two greens and it highlights their difference. So here, we could do that, and that would show some difference, but when you add that white plus the white label on front, everything kind of comes together. Now, I'm going to use multi-purpose glue on here. You could use any kind of adhesive you want. I'm not going to go too close to the edges because when I push down, this glue is going to spread out. I'm a big fan of our tape runner, and you'll see me use it a lot, but on most embossed surfaces, I use a multi-purpose glue. So that glue can kind of catch all the crevices. We're going to set that in here, and by being a multi-purpose glue, you can kind of move it around till you get it where you want, like so. And then before we attach it to the card, we're going to add some ribbon. This is a new ribbon that's also part of the July online exclusives. It's even prettier in person, honest. It's just gorgeous. Decide where you want your knot. I'm going to put mine here because we know we're going to be putting a sentiment up there. I'm going to grab a glue dot. And I'm going to put a dot where I want that knot to land. And here's what I'm doing. I'm just making sure I don't have a glue dot here that wasn't used by running my finger down. You need to keep enough of a tail that it covers your glue dots. This one has way too long a tail, and when I find, there we go, I'm at the end. I'm going to get rid of that. And my next spot here is a glue dot. I'm folding back the paper because I'm going to set that roughly where I want my bow to be and push down. Then lift up my paper. My glue dot is there, not there, easy to do. Okay. My rule of thumb is if I'm doing a knot, like I did here, 3 times the width, plus a little maybe. And if I'm doing a bow, it's 4 times. So 3 times 4 is 12. I have 13 on my measuring thing here. We'll go 13. And then, can't tell you why, but I do a better job if I'm tying upside down. I'm just verifying where my glue dot is with my finger there. And then I'm going to kind of just make sure they're even. And using my grid, that helps me kind of keep things straight. I'm going to tie a knot and catch it on that glue dot. Now, the strips are not exactly even. It's not going to matter because we're going to trim them anyway. And because the only place I'm attaching it is where the glue dot is, I can still move it around. I don't want to pull it so tight that the card starts to kind of bow, but you want to have it across there. There we go. I'm pushing it down on the glue dot. I'm going to catch that other end. And like that. Oh, sorry guys, the fingers, not a great hands day. There we go. Now clearly I need to trim, but I tend to wait till I get it on the card so then I can see where it looks like with the card base. Back here, I don't want this to move at all. So I can grab a glue dot again, or I'm a big fan of tear and tape for ribbon. So I'm just going to throw a little bit here. I just don't like it moving around. And a little bit here. And then I'll grab a tape runner. This is a flat surface. These work beautifully for tape runners. I can even, not that my card front's going anywhere, but I can also just grab this off the back. Okay, let's add this to our card base. Now when I fold this, remember there's a dark side and a light side. I want the dark side out because I want the contrast. And then that is going to go here. I can't wait to keep sharing Christmas cards with you. I have so many ideas I want to do with some of the new products coming out and with the two-tone paper. And I'm just going to snip. Oh, I grabbed the wrong scissors. I want my ribbon snips because they're sharp. And I know they're my ribbon snips because I have this lovely little chain that's holding on. And when I pick it up, it reminds me that it's to be used only for ribbon. So our card front is almost done. And we don't need to really add another embellishment because we have those lovely red cherry cobbler berries on there. All we need is our joy, and I'm going to grab some dimensionals and add those to the back. They come off of the sheet sticky. Ooh, two jumped off. They both want to be on here. That's fine. There we go. And then I'm going to peel the backing off. This would be a good card if you were doing multiple Christmas cards. It delivers a lot of impact, but it's something you could do in batches. Like you could emboss all the card fronts and do all this front joy sentiment, and they go together pretty quick. So remember, we had the inside of the card that we embossed. We've stamped it. Joy is on the front, and the sentiment I have is, may the spirit of the season bring you hope, happiness, and love. We're going to attach that on the inside. And as you can tell from the back, I went pretty far down with my embossing, but you could do whatever you want. The directions for this are on my Scrappin with Joni blog. There we go with our matching embossed. Doesn't this envelope just add so much impact with so little work? Someone's going to get that in their collection of Christmas cards and think, oh, that's a special card in there. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it more than you know. If you liked what you saw, please share it with your crafty friends. And until next time, take care and keep crafting. It's good for you.